In the long run, they're going to build more muscle probably.
One of the limitations for building muscle is actually capillarization, so building more capillaries.
When you do cardio, when you run, you also have more capillary density. That's nutrient delivery. So you could potentially become stronger. With more strength comes more mass and better hypertrophy, all this.
The research pretty clearly shows that moderate cardio, 30 to 45 minutes, 4, 5, 6 times a week, it's probably not going to negatively impact your lean body mass accrual.
As long as protein needs are met, you will typically be just fine. So if you're running and you're lifting, you probably need to increase your protein more than if you were just running or just lifting.
If you're somebody who's looking to maximize the amount of muscle you can build, just don't go too crazy with the cardio, and I think you'll be just fine.
So we have to look at exercise, combining strength training and running, not necessarily just on the exercise itself, but the application. Reason number 2 is improved health span and lifespan. What is the difference between health span and lifespan? Lifespan is the amount of years that you live. So think of it in terms of time or duration. Health span is that quality of life prior to disease. We know that strength training is going to improve and increase bone mineral content. And the older you get and the stronger your bones are, you reduce your risk of having a massive injury. Also, VO2 max. VO2 max is going to decrease the older you get. But if we build a strong VO2 max when we're younger and maintain that the older we get through zone 2 training, but also incorporating some high intensity zone 5 endurance training every once in a while is super important. So improving, increasing, and maintaining a strong VO2 max and bone mineral content is going to be extremely significant and important the older you get for your lifespan and your health span.
I'm curious as to whether or not you have any favorite 1 or 2 studies that point to a sort of naturally occurring example of how people can become very fit in one area and not another.
One of them we actually did in Stockholm, Sweden, and we worked with a whole bunch of cross-country skiers that were in their 80s and 90s, living alone and healthy, and we compared them to a group of individuals here in America who are the same age but were not exercising. So we ran them through a whole bunch of VO2 max tests. If you are in VO2 max of 20 or 21 or 22, you're not below that line of independence, but you're on that threshold. And so what we found was our folks here in America, the group average was right around that number. So if they got a cold or they had anything pop up where they lost a little bit of fitness, they were going to drop below that line and would probably have to go to some sort of assisted living situation. The cross-country skiers, the group average was most closer to 35 to 38. Now that number is about the VO2 max you would find for a normal college male. What I didn't tell you about is their leg strength and functionality. And that part was no more superior than it was their counterparts who were not exercisers. So what that showed really, really clearly, you will see in general their VO2 max, their resting heart rate, their blood pressure. It will be markedly healthier. However, it is not sufficient for overall global health because it does almost nothing for leg strength. For any other marker of health are the things that are actually going to predict mortality, morbidity the most. You need a combination of some sort of broad strength training and broad endurance.
Now, I'll be honest, when I was younger, when I was in my late teens, 20s, I was never thinking about training and nutrition in terms of extending the life that I was going to live.